There we go. Hey dudes, what's up? How's it going? Just going live. Haven't been live in a minute, so I figured I'd jump on and say hey to everybody. Let's see what's new. I made kind of a list today. I'm kind of prepared, so prepare yourselves. Um, let's jump in the chat. Let's see. Ronnie was in here first, I think. Ronnie Parker, what's up, man? How's it going? Cushman jumped in. What's up, Cush? Ryan, what's up? Talk to Ryan today. I will be having Ryan on this coming month as soon as I get my schedule from the OU812 channel. Him and I are going to hang out and talk about guitars and stuff. I look forward to that because he's got a lot of a lot of knowledge of the stuff that I don't know about. So I look forward to that. John Gregory, how you doing, man? Hello to all of you from Munster, Indiana. All right in the heartland of Midwest, a Midwest guy. Dan Gorman, what's up, bro? How you doing, man? There's Ryan. Fisticuffers, what's up, dude? How's it going? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And Brian Buckles, what's up, dude? How's it going? Let me jump in here real quick. Let's see. Thanks to all my subs. I know I'm kind of light lately. I've been kind of light lately putting stuff on, but you know, work gets in the way of stuff. So sometimes it just got to do what you got to do. Sometimes work gets in the way. But anyways, thanks for being here tonight. I got a bunch of stuff to go over, so let me get started here. One of the first things I wanted to go over was last week somebody had asked me about let's see here. Somebody had asked me about what we used at SIR for measuring. So we measured it on Starrett rulers. So what I did is I took a picture of this, and I just want to show you guys what I got in case you see it on eBay or something and you're looking to get one, because I went to go grab one and I know it's in here, but I just couldn't find it. So there it is. Starrett ruler, 3-inch ruler, measured at 64 on the last fret. And they line up really nice on the fret. They sit really nice on the fret. So really, you know, not the easiest thing to see, but you know, I'm getting old, so but I still use them and I swear by them. And for me personally, it's the easiest way to set your guitar up, you know, with measurement on final fret. Again, starting with when you go into your setup, you know, I've told everybody now that we started headstock, but once you get down to the last fret, that's a really easy way. After you check your neck relief and everything, that's a quick way to check it. So anyways, I was looking for that last week and I couldn't find one, and it was sitting over there because I was checking something the other day. I got some guitars that travel with the temperature change out here. So with the temperature change, you know, I've got to adjust sometimes. So I'll leave necks a little straighter and bring the action up, you know, just so I don't have to go out there and make a neck tweak. But you know, that being said, that's your Starrett ruler from that's what the guys at John Sir are using for setups, and that's that. So if you have any questions on anything, you can email me at 40gritguitars@gmail.com, or some of you even have, you watch the old shows, you got the D-Tuner 5150@gmail.com. Either one of those will work. I just saw that 40 Grit Guitars wasn't taken, so I took it. So that being said, click off this. That's your Starrett ruler. Let's see here. Getting on to other things. You guys see the did you guys see the Robert Baker video? Any of you? Let me jump into the comments here so I can see if you guys are talking or not. The Robert Baker video, they did a video on the Chipson, It was Bonamassa and Murphy, and they had a bunch of heavies in there. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend to go watch it. It's really good. Uh, it was my watch of the week, for lack of a better term. But if you, this is where you can find it. The pros point out everything wrong with this fake Les Paul. So I mean, they even cut part of the side off, and they cut the neck in half. Look at the truss rod. Look at it was a really interesting watch. So if you haven't watched it, looks like John Gregory watched it, and he said, yeah, it was a good watch. Fisticuffer watched it. I'm sure the majority of us already watched it, but it was just a great watch. So if you haven't had a chance to watch that, go watch it. It was a good watch. I enjoyed it. It was cool seeing Tom Murphy. I want to get a. I have a. I'm actually looking right now. When I was in Nashville last year, this guitar, I went to Carter Vintage, and this guitar was hanging up. And I was drawn to it. I was like, oh my God, it was just played awesome. And the next day I was going to the Gibson garage. So I didn't want to make a bad decision and buy this guitar that day. But oddly enough, a year later, it's still on the Carter Vintage website. I was going to hit him for $8,000. But it's a Tom Murphy actual, which would be kind of cool to have in your arsenal, in my opinion. I mean, look at that. That's all razor blade. That's not real. But it's a sharp looking guitar, and I gravitated towards it, and I was going to make an offer of $8,000, and I just kind of said, well, I'm going to the Gibson garage next day, so let me go see what they got over there. I ended up falling in love with a R7 over at the Gibson garage, and I saved myself $3,000 before taxes. I guess the good thing would be is if I bought it here, I would save the taxes because they'll ship. So, but yeah, yeah, yep. Ryan, you are correct, sir. Big investment. But I will say, seeing Tom Murphy on there and watching it kind of drew me back to Carter Vintage. And I was checking this guitar out, and I was like, man, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe sometime later at the end of the year, if it's still there, hit him with an offer. It's been there. It's been sitting there for a year. But anyways, a Tom Murphy actual would be cool. I was actually talking to the guy at the Gibson garage the day I bought mine, and he goes, I don't know if you should buy this one, man. Maybe you should just go back over to Carter and get that one, because it'd be cool to have an actual Tom Murphy. So I don't know. Maybe I'll pick it up. But seeing Tom Murphy in that video with the Robert Baker. So if you don't know who Robert Baker is, he's got some cool videos, and that guy can play. He's good. So I've got him saved on my videos. Whenever he's got something new, I end up chasing after that and watch that. So kind of a rabbit hole here, but it was cool to see the Tom Murphy that I was considering at Carter Vintage is still there. So cool guitar. Nice guitar. The back of it's sharp too. I remember. Yeah, I thought there was a shot of the back of the guitar on this. Maybe not. Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, that's sharp. Yeah, I could stare at that for a while. Anyways, headstock's good too. Good. It's all razor blade though, just like Ed's Wolfgang. Like if you look at Ed's Wolfgang, that was razor blade too. The 2015 tour, that was surely all, because it's very uniform. It's not sporadic. It's very uniform. So in my opinion, usually when it's very uniform like that, it's usually razor blade. So, but it's cool though. So that's cool. Let me start checking stuff off my list before I get lost here. I told you guys thanks. I showed you the ruler. We went over the Robert Baker stuff. I got some new stuff this week. I hit up a couple people, bounced some stuff off some people this week. Hey, shout out to Atomic Guitars in Peoria, Arizona. They got my Tim got my guitar done. It took a while, but that's how guitar guys are. So if you're out there and you're thinking about doing something or having something built, don't expect it quickly. It's going to take a while. There's very few guys that work with any kind of quality that are going to get it done quick. So be patient, and patience usually pays off, which I'll get into here in a little bit, but patience surely paid off on this one. So yeah, Ryan's right. Big investment on that. But it's, I think it's only going to go up being a real actual Tom Murphy actual. So, yes, you're John Gregory. You are correct, sir. You only live once. I'm starting to feel that way. Getting older. I just turned 54 in January, and I was like, you got a lot of guitars, man. You should. They should. You should not be so hesitant. That's a Tom Murphy before Murphy Lab. Yeah, that's a Tom Murphy actual that was done by Tom Murphy. That's why I was considering it. So that's kind of why I was going after that. When I talked to the sales guy, by the way, the sales kid, I wish I still had his name. That sales kid at Carter Vintage, young kid, very knowledgeable and really good. So yeah, so that's why Patrick at Guitar at Gibson Garage, he's my buddy's guy, and I guess he's my guy too. So he was saying that, I don't know, man, maybe you should go after the Tom Murphy actual, but I did not. Saving. But then again, I quit my job for the 6 months, so I was kind of like, I better be careful right now. So Zach Thong, what's up, man? How you doing? Appreciate you being here. I heard they put, it's, look at the headstock on that. I don't know. I mean, but it's just way too consistent. The checking's way too consistent on the headstock. If you look at the headstock of Ed's Wolfgang, I'm more talking about the headstock because I saw the headstock on that Gibson, and I'm certain that Ed's Wolfgang, the headstock on the Wolfgang was razor blade. I don't know about the body. I don't know. But the headstock, surely. And this Gibson, surely razor blade, in my opinion. In my opinion. Yeah, getting Edwards, right? Save some money. Save some money. Andy Carson, what's up, man? How you doing? Appreciate you being here. Let's see here. Andy, do you know Humbucker Music still open? Humbucker Music. Speaking of humbuckers, I was talking to Randy the other day. We're talking about banjo mics. You guys are looking for DiMarzio, man. Banjo mics, the guy to go to on eBay. Super, super duper fast shipping. And I got his phone number. I talked to Banjo Mike one day, and he gave me his phone number. So I shared that with Randy. You can call direct and get maybe save yourself some money with regards to like eBay fees and stuff like that. I don't know. But anyways, Banjo Mike's the guy to go to. Banjo Mike on eBay for DiMarzio stuff. But if you go on Under the Bus, you get the Under the Bus coupon or the Tessie coupon, and he's got some DiMarzio stuff on there. So I mean, you can go a couple different ways. I just updated my Tessie switches. I put a Tessie switch in a guitar I just got, which I'll be going over here in a few minutes. So I had to order some more, and they just came today. So check out Tessie Switch. Tessie Switch is cool for kill switches, and they got a bunch of stuff on there now. I was browsing their shopping stuff the other day. So if you get a chance, check out Tessie Switch. They're cool. Zach's doing good. He's been playing guitar all day. Hey man, aren't those the good days? Yesterday, I built a guitar. I finished building a guitar, and there's an EMG in it, and I was just like, oh my god, it sounded good. I haven't messed with the EMG in a while. I think I have one guitar in there with the EMG in it. It's at Zach Wild, and that EMG 81 sounded really good yesterday. So I was playing through the Iconic, and it just dialed in really good. So I was very happy with that. Hey rockers, please don't forget to like. But hey, yeah, man, appreciate that. My pilot, my son is still at work out there in California, so I'm flying solo tonight. Hello, everyone. Music and Gear. Hey, dude, how's it going? Appreciate you being here. Ogre Lord, what's up? I've been finding out about the breed. Ever try one? The breed. Please elaborate. Breed. I'm pretty sure that's a pickup. Let me know what. Please elaborate on that. Stu Petty, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in my chat before. Welcome. Could you go over how you shim the necks for the recessed Floyd trim? Yeah. So was that you that hit me up the other day about the how did I get the bridge to work with the recessed cavity? So the best way the best way to explain that is sorry. When I was working at Sir, I knew about shims and stuff, but me and Mike Ponce, I took a body in one day to route because one of those Charvel, it was a USA. The bridge was like this high off of the body, and the blocks all sticking out. Same thing on the cross swords. The cross swords had the same problem. I had Atomic do that one because I don't have a pin router, but and I wanted it to get done right, so I just took it down to Harry and Tim, and they fixed it for me. But I took a USA body in, or actually, I still have the body. I still have it. Shoot, let me grab it. Oh, hold on, I'll show you. So this guitar went with me to work one day. And you can see now how far the body is off the bridge is off the body. It's sitting, right where it should, for my opinion, especially having a D-tuner, because if the body's a little bit off, it's a little easier to access a D-tuner if it's a flush mount, if there's no cavity there, right? So I took this body in one day to Sir, and I was like, "Hey, Mike, could you help me with this? Because this bridge is like a mile off, and can we throw it on the pin router and shim it out?" And he said, "Yeah." So when I was building guitars with Bill Zola at Zola Guitars, we used to just take a quarter and flip it upside down, and that would give you your angle. Like a quarter always worked out well for Bill. Bill just threw a quarter under it, and then we would route the pin router, and that would be your neck angle. It always worked well. I'm sure everybody's got their own little trade secret that they use. But for the guys that don't have a pin router, we throw shims in there, right? Or you could buy those wafer shims from Stu McDonald. I've seen those now. Those are kind of cool, for the guy that just doesn't want to throw a piece of paper in there or a piece of sandpaper, fold it in half or whatever. But yes. So long story short, that's why. So I was talking to Mike about this guitar when I went into work that morning, and I went into work early. This was my number 2, by the way. This is my number 2. There's a SSH Plus in there. So this is my number 2 during my gigging days, and you can tell that it was my number 2 because this one has been played and it's fantastic. There's a SSH Plus and a SSV in the neck, and it's got a that feels like a CTS. And 3-way switch, original Floyd Rose, and it just plays amazing. Tune standard and plays amazing. So I took this guitar into work one day, and I said, "Hey, it's a mile off." I'm repeating myself. The bridge is a mile off the neck. He goes, "Yeah, let's go throw in a pin router." So we went through a pin router. He goes, "Yeah, man." Like, he's sitting there talking to me, and Mike Ponce really was a wealth of knowledge. He was just awesome. And he was cool to talk to when it wasn't when he was your boss. It was a little more difficult to talk to him because he was kind of grumpy a lot. But when you were talking to him one-on-one, it was really cool, and there was moments. So anyways, Stu, let me help you out. If you want so this is how Mike explained it to me. If you want the bridge to come down, you have to flatten out the pocket. If you want the bridge to go up on the body, you want to put angle in the pocket. So and he kept doing this, and to me, he's just there talking to me, and I was going, yeah, and that always stuck with me. So when I'm explaining something to somebody about bringing up the bridge, how did you? So I got the question. I'm not sure if it was you, Stu, the other day, but somebody asked me, "Hey, how did you get the Charvel to accommodate the D-tuner with the recessed route?" Well, you have to angle the neck. So my response was, you had to put angle on the neck to bring the bridge up. And what you have to do is you can take a shim, which I recommend that sandpaper. I may have a picture, but that tic-tac-toe looking sandpaper, and just cut a piece off and stick it in there. And that should give you enough neck angle to start bringing the bridge up. Once you bring the bridge up on that, I have here's a recessed. So once you start bringing the bridge up, then it allows you to have better access to your D-tuner. You have to bring the bridge up so it's not sitting inside, because I have seen on a lot of those Charvels, they're sitting really deep inside the pocket, which they shouldn't be. In my opinion, when you get one of those Charvels, you should it should be sitting at least flush to the body. That's how I set up recessed cavities. If I go D-tuner, I'll bring it up a little bit more because I want to be able to get in there and pull that D-tuner out quick if I'm in a pinch, or if I'm playing, live, which is probably never going to happen again. But I always set my bridge up to sit a little higher if I had a D-tuner, because you have accessibility. So hopefully that answers your question, Stu Petty. You take your neck off, throw a shim in there, put some angle on the neck to where the neck gives you some angle, and then that's going to want to bring the bridge up. Once you bring the bridge up a little bit, you're going to have better access to your D-tuner. So hopefully that helps, sir. Hopefully that's what, and if it did help, let me know. Or if I didn't answer your question, then please let me know. Brian Buckles, if I wanted to do a Nitro Relic project, any suggestions on rattle cans? Is this too much? Yes. I've used the rattle can Stumac on one of the guitars I did, a black one, and it turned out good. Hey man, when I go out in the, this is what's awesome about having my this new Apple computer, because I have access to all my pictures, and it's so much easier to find pictures. But when I go out to paint, you see, I got a picture. When I go out to paint these guitars, I've got a stand that I built, and it doesn't take, you don't have to, especially if you're doing a Relic to guitar, it doesn't need to be perfect, man. I mean, mine look pretty good, but they surely don't have to be perfect. Anyways, if I can find this, I'll show you when I get out. So when I'm outside and I'm getting ready to paint. What's the last guitar I did? I don't remember what the last guitar I did painted, but I broke the chub tone out tonight for Randy. Randy was talking about the chub tone the other day, so I want to rub it a little bit. But when you're doing rattle can, it just doesn't have to be perfect. So anyways, I can't find it. I think it's on my eBay account or on my Facebook account. Maybe here. Talk amongst yourselves. I'd like to find it so I can just show you guys what, when I'm out there, when I'm getting ready for, I think it's coming up here. When I go out there for paint, I just got a stand I built. Anyways, I got a old, I have a old thing that I screw into the deck pocket, and I just sit there and I can twist it, spray and twist, just like if I was at the shop. But yes, if I wanted to do a Relic project, any suggestion for rattle cans, Stubac's a great choice. Stubac will be fine. I mean, I've used Krylon on stuff out there. I mean, it depends on how good you want the it depends on how good you want how deep of a Relic you're going. And it depends on how good you want it to look. So that's what my recommendation would be with regards to what kind of nitro. But yeah, freeze it and crack it and make it look cool. So the Andy Carson, Ryan, just let me know. Okay, Andy's still talking. Looks like Ryan's talking to him. Okay, cool. So, so you were the guy. Cool. So hopefully I answered your question. If I didn't, jump in there, man. And I definitely want to be able to help you guys with regards to guitar stuff. Sorry for going down the rabbit hole of trying to find that, but I wanted to find that for you guys so I could show you. It's not rocket science. I have a 2x4 post. I drilled a hole in it. I had a mount for the guitar body. I could just spin it on the stand, spray, consistent spraying, just like you're a machine. Don't sit there in one spot. Just pretend like you're a machine and get a nice even coat. Couple 3 coats, and you should be able to. Depending on what color you're shooting, if you're shooting black, I mean, I'm able to get done quicker. Especially I'm going to be relicking it. You want to make it look as good as you can. You want to put it as little the paint on as you can, so that your cracking your checking comes out good. So let's see here. Peggy, what's up? Hey, Peggy, what's up? How you doing? Thanks for being here. Peggy from the Johnny Bean show. What's up? Kurt 5150. Kurt, I was gonna shoot you a link tonight. See if you want to jump in. If you want to jump in, let me know. So I'll fire you over. I'll fire you over a jump in, a invite. Okay, cool. Kurt, see how far behind I am here. See Zach Thong, what's up? Here we go. Just found out DiMarzio made the breed. Yeah, I thought that's what it was. Supposedly more mid-range, not as high as the Evolution, beefier. If it's beefier, just wonder if you have experience. So I do have experience with the Evolution, because the Charvel DiMarzios came with the tone zone in the bridge and the Evolution in the neck. So I had the Evolution, and I like the Evolution. I have not messed with the breed, but if it's beefier, I'm sure I'll like it. So I don't have any experience with that, but if you have experience with it, then let's please elaborate. Talking shitty guitars is better than a great day at work. You're telling me. You are telling me I like being off. I just told my better half is in. She went to Vegas to go fill her Vegas thing, and I didn't want to go because I had 2 days off, and I've spent enough money over the last month with that Les Paul. Let's see here. Okay, cool. All right, cool. I'm glad that was you, and let me know if there's okay, cool. So so Stu, I'm assuming that I answered your question, so I really hope I did, and that's good. Stu Mac Amber, Rattle Cans is great. I use some of my Sterling. Okay, headstock, perfect match. Cool. Yeah, good advice. I do like the Stu Mac paint. I think it was black I bought. But then they have an antique too. Antique white that I was thinking about going after. So cool. Chub Tone's coming out. Chub Tone's coming out here shortly. I have a full chub. I don't think. No, he does 3/4 chubs. He does 3/4 chubs. Wet sanding is your friend. We do right. Yes, wet sanding. Yes. Yeah, I agree. Keep going here. Man, there's a lot of people that started talking about stuff here. Let me see. You just did one piece of sandpaper. Okay. So, hey man, do me a favor. Email me at 40 Grit Guitars, and I will show you everything that I would do with regards to your. I've got some pictures from another guy that had some shim issues. So I believe I still have those pictures, and they're really good pictures to use. So just shoot me an email at 40 Grit Guitars, and then I can bombard you with everything I have with regards to that. So. Wall of Cries, what's up, man? How you doing? Ogler, cool, thanks. Curious about the breed, so I may go get one. Banjo Mike's. So go on eBay and check out Banjo Mike's. He's awesome, cool guy, friendly guy, really cool guy. And I don't know if he's okay with me giving out his phone number, but I do have his phone number, and he's just such a nice guy. And he's the thing I like about Banjo Mike is he's quick. I always got my pickups quick. Even when I was living in California, I got my stuff quick from that cat. So Banjo Mike's on so if you go on any DiMarzio pickup, and just start clicking on them on eBay, you will see Banjo Mike will pop up. So definitely highly recommended, extremely fast shipping, and Banjo Mike is the guy to go after. Everybody's chatting about their own thing. Stu Petty, yeah, no problem, man. Just email me. I got you. Your string height do you run on a Les Paul? It's 12th. What did I run on the Les Paul at the 12th fret? Well, on the last fret, it's at 464s. So I guess that would depend on your relief. And so if you just, I mean, I don't have much relief on that 89 I just bought. It's pretty straight. So my buddy came over yesterday. He brought over 4 fenders for me to go through. We were just out in the garage BSing. I was just kind of like lemon oil in the necks and changing the strings and checking everything. His dad's coming to town. They play guitar together, which is cool. And we were talking about setups and stuff like that. And yeah, 12th fret. I don't measure at the 12th. I measure at the last fret. Because relief will be dependent upon the player. So depending on what you want, that's why the 12th fret or the last fret's always the best fret to measure off of. But I'm at 464 on my Les Paul, and it feels like it's slammed. I mean, he was playing them yesterday, and we're bouncing it off the Peter Frampton. And then he texted me throughout the day, and he said, "I just can't get that Peter Frampton out of my head." So I did a video on the Frampton. That's a really cool guitar. So if you, I would highly recommend the Peter Frampton Les Paul if you're looking for one. That having control of that middle pickup on the tone or on the treble volume is just kick ass. That's just so cool. So I just ordered a Marzio Fast Track for my son Squire Mustang from Banjo Mike's. Yeah, Banjo Mike's, man. He's a cool cat, man. He's a cool cat. 464s was Sir Spec. 464s is what, I usually set. So Kramer's 464s, Gibson's 464s. Anything a stronger radius, I usually go 4 because you're going to choke. If you go too low, like on a 16-inch radius, you'll be fine. I'll go 364s. If I'm on a Kramer or something with a stronger radius, I'll go 464s, and they always feel like they're slammed. So 464s on last fret. If you measure between, there's going to be different opinions on everything. I don't want to get into a pissing match with with anybody that's a guitar guy on the internet, but I'm just telling you, I respect the shit out of John Suhr. He's a badass, and that's the way that he told me to do it. So if that's the way John Suhr does it, that's the way I'm going to do it. I guess you can measure wherever you want to. You could break out. You can measure on any fret you want. You can break out those super long Stu Mac gauges or whatever. But I'm telling you, having this on final fret is just so much easier because it just sits right on the fret, and you can just angle it a little bit. You can see right where you're at. See, like that one's at 364s, and I don't have the best eyesight in the world, so I can just sit there and eyeball it, and I'm at 360 on that one. That's a Musicraft neck. Speaking of which, I'm going to talk about Musicraft here in a little while. Musicraft is kick ass. I like 5mm relief with the 0.65, 12th on the low. Keep your radius equal to the neck. My setup. Like I said, buddy, everybody's got their own way of doing it. Whatever works for you, because you can take a guitar and hand it off to somebody like, man, this thing plays like shit. Or I've had guys grab my guitars. They go, man, it's just really buttery. Some guys like playing with really super tight tension because I guess the accuracy would probably be better. I like more of a buttery bend, for lack of a better term. I've got my own way I set up my Floyd Roses. I've got I've told all you guys, like when I take a bend like in the middle, my bridge is going to come up just a little bit, and you can see the bridge. You can see the bridge just moving just a little bit. That's how I set my bridges up. And it gives me kind of a buttery feel on the Floyd, and they feel good for me. I mean, I set up that Pacer video I did. My buddy sent me a text message the other day. I took him his guitar back. And he said, "Yo, I just played the pacer. Your guitar setup skills never cease to amaze me, bro. You should have really been a guitar tech for the number one touring guitarist all over the world. You missed your calling anyway. Thanks again for the amazing setup and the wizardry. Bill taught you well. He was truly your Obi-Wan." So yeah, that is true. Bill Zola was truly my Obi-Wan Kenobi. So yes, I agree with you. Everybody's going to have their own their own thing. Felipe, you leaving me already, bro? What is up? How's it going, man? Appreciate you being here. Always appreciate your comments on my posts. And you have a good night, pal. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. R2R3, what's up, bro? How's it going? Saw you on the show yesterday. Nice to see you, pal. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. All right, let's go over what I bought. So when I was out in California, my son lives in Simi Valley, so I do the south to Thousand Oaks Guitar Center, and then east to Norms, and then east to Guitar Center, and then we just have our run that we do over there when we go. Instrumental music in Thousand Oaks. We have the places that we hit. So we hit Guitar Center, and I think I told the story. I picked up one of these. And it played amazing, right? And I go, God, that guitar plays so good. But I looked down at it, and there were like pick scratches all over it. And I go, and this employee walks by me, and I go, "Is this one new?" And he goes, "Yeah, brand new, yeah." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm not paying full price for that guitar. I'm not going to do it." So, but I couldn't stop thinking about this guitar. And then we drove down to Norm's, and I bought the Black Les Paul. And I was like, well, I'm not going back to Guitar Center to buy that one now. So I'm sitting watching TV with the better half one night, and I was looking at OfferUp or something, and it says Guitar Center used, and I had this guitar. And it said available in Thousand Oaks. And I go, oh, so now they realize that it is a used guitar and they're going to sell it. So that's what I'm going to buy. I'm going after it. So I bought it, and then I get the shipping thing, and it says shipping from Hollywood, Florida. And I go, well, that's not really the one that that's not the one that I wanted. So the interesting thing about this one was, scroll here a little bit. It said shipping from Hollywood, Florida, which kind of crapped me out, because I was like, there's no way that that's the guitar. So it wasn't, and I got it, and I went to Guitar Center and picked it. That's the first time I've ever bought a guitar from Guitar Center and had it shipped to my Phoenix Guitar Center, which I thought was kind of interesting. But I went there to pick it up, and it was really easy. Like they make it pretty easy. So I got it home, and I look at the bridge, and the inserts are all titanium. All the locking inserts are titanium. The locking screws are titanium, and they were red. So I was like, okay, well, I don't like that. And I took the whole guitar apart. And then I realized that the bridge pickup had been changed out, because I started looking at it a little bit deeper, and the Wolfgang pickup was gone. So I got this guitar for $800, which I thought was a good price. $800 for one of these is actually pretty good. So I got it, and I saw that it had been tinkered with and stuff. So I didn't plug it in. I just kind of like got to it. I took the bridge off and put it the correct way for me. And I did everything right, put it back together. I put the Wolfgang pickup back in it. I took the pickup out, and it was an Andy Timmons DiMarzio. So I was like, well, I've never messed with an Andy Timmons DiMarzio, so I'm going to take it out. So I put the Wolfgang pickup back in it, wired it back up, brought it into the guitar room, set it up, intonated it, which I had to re-intonate and everything, and plugged it in. It sounded like shit. It sounded like half power. It sounded like I had about half power come out of it. And I go, man, it's really weird. What is going on here? And I said, I'm just going to sell it. So I went to get off it, and the first email I get is a guy on Facebook Marketplace saying, "You should probably keep that guitar." Guy doesn't know me, and I'm like, "Well, that's kind of weird. Somebody would just say to me I should keep that guitar." So it sits on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace for a couple of. I think I had it at 1,100, and not one bite. And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm not hurting to sell a guitar, so let's just tear it back apart and find out what's wrong with it because something's not right." I was playing through the Iconic, and I felt like I was about half power, and I was plugging other other Wolfgangs in, and they were sounding just fine. So I plugged. I took this out and tore it all apart. I took everything apart. I sent Randy pictures of it, and I just started over again. So, well, remember on these made in Mexico Wolfgangs or whatever, the 5150s or whatever, the wiring sucks. So it's my opinion that you should just go back through and rewire everything anyways and do it right because it's very difficult to troubleshoot a wiring harness that's been prefabricated like that. Like the ones at Sir, we would prefab the pots, like we would have certain things wired already to where they just drop in, but it wasn't 10 feet of wire and you just leave it in there and just shove all the wire in there on top of it because if you're trying to troubleshoot, it's very difficult to troubleshoot something like that. So anyways, I gutted the whole thing and I found pinched the output coming from switch to cavity was pinched underneath the three-way switch and it was cut in half. So again, too much wire in there and it got caught up and they pinched it and it cut it. So that's why I had half output. So I gutted everything. I took all the wiring out. I redid everything, and it looks it's surely to Sir standard, and it looks really good in there. But I couldn't help but think, I bet that's why that guy swapped that pickup out because he probably thought it just sounded like shit. And he said, "Well, I'm just going to replace the bridge pickup." And he put an Andy Timmons in it. So what I did is I said, "Well, I got a lot of guitars with the Wolfgang pickup in. Let's put the Andy Timmons back in." So I put the Andy Timmons back in it with the Wolfgang neck pickup, and man, this guitar sounds amazing. So I took the tone out. I put a Tessie switch in it because they just drop into the tone hole. I put a Tessie kill on there, and then I just have my volume knob, and this guitar is fantastic. Plays great, and I got the D-Tuner working. These D-Tuners don't work because there's too much plating on them. So you have to sand out that channel underneath to get some of the plating off. And then once you sand some of that plating off, they're good to go. So this one turned out good. So I'm glad I kept it. Thanks to the guy that told me I should have kept it. And that's that. That's that. Zach Thong says, on my acoustic, the side and back, a beautiful set of near coat, and the top is a bear claw, Sitka spruce. Okay, cool, man. Yeah, nice, man. Yeah, I'm sure that looks nice. I have two acoustics. I have a Kramer Farrington, and I have or no, maybe it's three. No, I got three. I have an Ibanez Euphoria Steve Vai. I have a Kramer Farrington. And then I have a Fender, just a Fender. Oh, by the way, Greg Chason, bass player of Badlands, his daughter came in and bought a car for me the other day. He came in and I talked to him for he owns Bizarre Guitar here, or he runs Bizarre Guitar here in Phoenix. So Greg Chason, bass player, Badlands, Jakey Lee, all that cool stuff. Greg Chason's daughter came and bought a car for me the other day. It was pretty cool. So I got to talk to him, talk guitars, talk to him about EVH Custom Shop, and because he is a Charvel dealer, so I said I might come down and order a guitar from him. So everybody's saying hello to each other. See if there's any other questions here. Cheech says, "Hey, 40, is Zim's guitars any good?" Zim's guitar is probably the best. If you're looking to go back to when you were a kid and you went to guitar shops and you wanted to experience that again, go to Zim's Guitar. Zim's always has cool stuff, and Zim's is always cool to like negotiate with. He will never like say no, I won't do that. Like I not to like railroad him or anything, because I'm not, but Zim's is a great place to go. He's always open to negotiation, which you should be as a salesperson. And that's the cool thing about Zim's. Everybody, I would like to welcome Randy Price to the show.
What's up? What's up?
Oh, Randy's got his work garb on. Right on, bro.
Oh yeah, I haven't been home long.
Yeah, what's up, man? How's it going?
Oh, it goes. Another long day at the Ford dealer.
Yeah, I've been away from the Ford dealer for 2 days, and I told my better half. She just texted me a little while ago. I said I'm just about unwound. I'm just about there. So back at it tomorrow. So I was just going over Zim's, and I went over this build. Remember I sent you those pictures the other night of this thing all tore apart?
Yeah.
I'm just going through these. I'm just going through these real quick and see and just going through this stuff. So did you get that Charvel?
It should be here Thursday.
Shipping from Ohio or Missouri?
Yeah, Missouri. Near Springfield, I think. It's like a suburb of Springfield, Missouri.
Cool.
Yeah, he sent me a message at probably 1 o'clock. Said he dropped it off and it would ship out or leave there wherever he shipped it from at 4 o'clock. So it's showing Thursday for delivery. Along with my Banjo Mics order, since I heard you talking about Banjo Mics earlier.
About Banjo Mics earlier, dude. Banjo Mics is awesome, bro.
Oh yeah, dude. You need DiMarzios, man. Banjo Mics is the way to go.
He's the guy. He's the man. Speaking of which, I had one more thing to talk about on that frickin' Wolfgang. So then I went out to my parts and I was like, okay, well, I got to replace these locking screws. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do? So I go onto eBay. I talked to you about this earlier, and I was like, man, so this guy, I was going to put the auction up and everything, but I'm not going to do that. But this is what the guy said. Here's what you're buying. And I said, okay, cool. I need those. And then this is what I got. So let me ask you a question. And so this is to the chat. Those are Floyd Rose lock blocks. And you can tell because they're smooth and they're dull. They're dull, they're smooth, and they're steel. So this is what I get. And I was a little twisted, but it just is. And then I talked to the guy and I go, hey, bro, that's not, let me see let's just see what the chat says. I know you said, I don't know. And then I felt kind of bad when I read your text. I was like, maybe I'm being a dick, but that's what I got. I have a problem with that. I just don't know. I don't know why I have a problem with that. But those are not Floyd Rose. I hit the guy back and I go, hey, man, these aren't Floyd, man. He goes, nope, never said they were. All my stuff's aftermarket. And I was like, well,
maybe you should have specified that in your listing, bud.
Yeah. And I went back and read it a couple of times. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to chase this guy, because I did look on the FU tone. I think they're knurled, or these are knurled like the Ibanez. So I think I'm just going to leave it alone. But I thought that was let's see if anybody's commenting on that. See,
like they look to me like the screws they use in the 1500 series, the hot rod, that have been spray painted.
Yeah. I mean, like, why would you say OFR, which is what they said? They said OFR, and I was just like, man, Kurt's got some. I just ordered a bunch of them today. I just went ahead and bit the bullet and said, something I got. Oh, look who's here. It's Dane.
What's up, Dane?
Yeah, Dane, what's up, man? I was just talking good about you. Yeah, if you're in Phoenix, make sure you go check out Dane. I was considering going down there today, but I just got too busy with other stuff, man. I just got other stuff going on. So, when are you Thursday you get your guitar?
Thursday should be the delivery day for the guitar and all the other crap I bought with my what do they call it, the technician loyalty rewards or whatever they call that thing now. So, but I bought the guitar, ordered with banjo mites because I'm going to old school look with it with some double cream pickups and the cream pickup rings. And I bought some stuff from Sweetwater. I've got to get some 12-inch patch cables so I can reorganize my pedal board because it's a disaster.
Mm.
And I did buy some titanium blocks for that new guitar because I cranked the shit out of those things.
Mm.
I'm bad about cracking the regular blocks, so I'll use the titanium ones and just some other little stuff. So I think Thursday's the day for all that.
I'm sure I shared the story at some point in time on this show about when I went into performance guitar and I had one of the performance that I had built and he was doing something, or he had built and I had bought, and he was doing something with it. And he goes, you're tightening them too tight. And like, he goes, I had to replace all the block. And he goes, they're all cracked. And I go, yeah, I know. And then that's when I just started using titanium because he says I crank them too tight. So I try to stay away from those, the non-titanium.
Yeah, I've thought about switching to the titanium locking nut pads because I crank those too.
Yeah.
If you take them off any of my guitars, there's string grooves worn in them because I clamp them down.
That's a good point, man. You're talking about for the other side where the strings are hiding.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean, you can get the whole titanium lock nut for like $250, but I mean, I haven't worn the nut that I've noticed on any of them, but the locking pads have grooves in them. And the deeper they get, the more, you're at risk for slippage.
Yeah. It'll compromise for sure having those grooves in there.
So I've thought about getting the locking pads for all of them, but that's money.
Yeah.
They're not cheap.
Well, I had an interesting, let's see, what was that? Valentine's Day. He sent out Adam Reaver sent out a thing for, he was doing a discount on the bridges.
Right. And
I said, I sure could use a coupon. He was like, well, hit me up. So I hit him up and he gave me a discount. And then I bought some titanium blocks and I bought a 37 block, the extended one, the one that covers up the Floyd Rose, the bar.
Well, they call it the L block or whatever.
The L block. Yeah. The L block. I bought one of those because I kind of like the look of it sometimes. And, but then I asked him about those SIRS. Hey, so on that new PT, because I remember we were talking about it on the show, and he was like, I said, hey, on those new PTs, are those titanium saddles? Because there's a $500 swing in that guitar.
Right.
And I'm like, are those titanium saddles? He said, no, just lock blocks. And I was like,
I thought Pete said they had titanium saddles.
No, he just the lock blocks, man. And I said, just to confirm, blocks only. And he said, yes, blocks only. So I was like, okay. And then oddly enough, 2 days ago, Sweetwater hit me up and said, hey, I've got a Pete Thorne available. And I said, I'm going to hold out for the red one. I'm just going to hold out for the red one. So what does Kurt say? Kurt said, what? Has titanium colored fine tuners now. Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Fine tuners, the screws, all that stuff in titanium that's colored.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought about getting the black titanium screws for that Floyd because I kind of want it to have that old school look.
Yeah.
But I thought about doing the brass fine tuners, but I'm probably not. I'll probably just take my little gasket remover on my die grinder and just grind the black off of them. So
no, the Andy Timmons, The only reason I put that Andy Timmons in is because I texted Randy and I said, "Hey, bro, what do you think about the Wolfgang versus the Andy Timmons?" He said that he has the Andy Timmons in the Van Halen, right?
Yeah, it's in the 84 replica back here that you can't really see because my microphone's in the way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I like that pickup. No, it's black. It's not zebra.
Yeah, I put that pickup in that guitar on purpose. I think it had it had the Frankenstein pickup in it, and I'm just not a fan. I mean, in reality, that's just a custom that's mildly tweaked. I think they use a different wire insulation on it. And I mean, if you spec them out, right next to each other, the Frankie and the custom, I mean, they're pretty much identical. And that I'm not an A2 magnet guy. I just, for the way I play and how I dial amps in, A2s to me get fizzy for a bridge pickup. They're not bad if it's like a neck pickup in a Les Paul, but I just don't really like A2s. So, when you look at the DiMarzio lineup, the AT1 is actually closer to the EVH Music Man pickup than the Tone Zone. The Tone Zone's too hot. It's got a little more squish in the mids. And the AT1 is, if you put it, what's that Instagram page? I think it's Guitar Pickup Database. They put a JB and an AT1 on a oscilloscope and measured the resonant peak and all that stuff between a JB and AT1, and they're almost identical. But the way the resonant peak is on the AT1, it smooths the high end out. Because some JBs are squeaky, kind of screechy in the high end. So it's basically a JB with a smoother high end and not quite as hot. So, but yeah, I mean, that AT1, man, if you want to do the Van Halen thing with it, it does it, and it does it very well.
It does. Yeah, I'm impressed with that pickup. So that pickup staying, I did paint the dog ears. The dog ears were chrome, and it looked weird having the brass dog ears on the Wolfgang pickup. Right. So I pulled the pickup out, painted the dog ears like we did at Sir, and then threw it back in, and it looks fantastic, and it sounds fantastic. I'll be leaving that one alone.
Yeah, that's a great
leaving that guitar alone.
It's a great pickup.
Ryan says the switch sucks too. All those switches, like on the Charvels and stuff, I replace them. I mean, like as soon as I buy the guitar, I replace all that shit. So 100% correct, sir. 100% correct.
Yeah, that's part of the stuff in my Sweetwater order. I like DiMarzio pots because they're not a high friction and they're not a super low friction. They're kind of in between. So, because I personally don't like the low friction Bournes EVH pots or the YJM Duncan pots. They're just, I don't know. They're really easy to bump with how my right hand is if the knob's close enough, and I'll roll them down way too easy. So the DiMarzios, they're not super high friction like a normal pot. They're kind of like in that sweet spot between the low and a normal friction pot,
like the CTS. The wiper blade CTS that we use at Sir are the middle of like a medium friction and the low friction. Where they're right in the middle. The CTS are always really nice. That's what's in this one. I mean, it's not too, it's not crazy, but it's not tight either. Right. Like it's not gonna. I remember gigging with Wolfgangs and everything would move. You'd be like, man, what the hell happened to my volume?
Right.
And like everything would move. Being playing live. It's weird.
Yeah, I ordered a DiMarzio 500K pot and a three-way DiMarzio three-way switch to swap out in that new guitar, because like I said, all those, I mean, even though it's a Japanese Charvel, I mean, they kind of lack on the electronics a little bit. That and this guitar has been modified, so the guitar as it sits has got a I think it's got a Frankenstein pickup in the bridge, so now I have 3 spare Frankenstein pickups. Which Ryan's going to get one of them. And I think he put a 59. It's got a nickel covered 59 in the neck, and that's got to go.
Yeah.
I hate that pickup.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the 59 either.
I always did. If I put a 59 in the neck of a couple of my guitars back in the day, I did the dime bag trick where he put the bridge 59 in the neck. A little more, it pops out a little bit more.
Mhm.
You know, it's just a tad hotter, but it's the EQ of it's different, and it works to me better in the neck position.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, those are going to go.
Talking about Dane, the man has a wealth of guitar knowledge. He is. He's got a good channel. He's cool, and he's a cool cat. Everybody's talking about Dane. Dane's a cool cat. That's right. He says that's right. Okay. So what's this? Still using Cinch as a Ford there, Randy. Yes, they are.
Yeah. He talked about the uniforms
All day.
We were going to ditch them like a year ago, and then they realized they were locked into like a 5-year contract with them. So yeah, we're still on the Centos there, Kurt. Kurt used to be an exec for Centos, like an account executive or something. So
I remember him talking about that. Well, I mean, if you're going to go throw them in the pond, Kurt, I'll take them. You may need them, though. You got to hold on to stuff like that because you're always going to need it. Say debut on Trans Trem Thursday. You're going to debut your new Charvel on Trans Trem Thursday? You're going to wait to get it done?
If it shows up in time, I'll and it's playable out of the box, because I probably won't get home till around 6:30. So if it's at least playing shape, I may debut it. If not, then I'll debut it when I swap everything out.
R2 says, I bought a Godot bridge Saturday. Why I don't know, but I bought one.
Oh, why I don't know, but I bought one. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what I did the other day. Guess what I did the other day? I saw Floyd Rose original on Reverb, and I sent the guy an offer for $220, and he took it. And then guess what it was? It was a Pro. And the guy listed it as the guy listed it as original, and then I was at work, so I was kind of like just like spinning dishes, and
right.
I go, oh, okay. So then I went back and looked at it, and I go, wait a minute, that's not original, that's a Pro. Wait a minute. Well, the guy's taken 3 days to ship it. I haven't gotten a shipping thing, so today I just emailed him and said, hey, bro, I don't want this. Just go ahead and send me a return, and you need to relist your auction as it's a Pro. It's not an original, because I don't know. I was gonna buy it because I felt bad, but I was like, nah. If you're gonna take 3 days to ship it, then I'm not gonna buy it.
Oh, here's the thing with that: is it the original Pro or is it the 1000 Pro? Because they're different.
It's the made in Germany one, which means the spacing is
Pro.
Yeah.
The string spacing's kind of whacked out.
Yep. That's why I really wasn't interested. Once I started looking at it, I was like, I really, to be a nice guy, I just take it and probably resell it or use it one day. Someday, I'll end up using that. But I was like, and then the guy just hasn't shipped it, so I just hit him up and said, hey, bro, let's not.
Yeah, I think the post spacing's different on those. I think the post spacing's different on the 1000 Pros too.
The 1000, they've got more of a Floyd string spacing, right?
Yeah, they've got the wider string spacing.
Yeah.
The German Pro has the narrower.
And that's what that was.
Because, I had that Ernie Ball, that John Petrucci, the JP16, which is the one they did with the Floyd, and that's what he spec'd to put on it was the 1000 Pro because of the string spacing. And which is fine, but I don't get into me and Music Man Next not being wide enough. But like Jay Hannon's got 2 of those guitars, and he hates that 1000 Series Pro, and there's nothing you can just drop in without having to dowel and drill new post spacing and routing the body.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with it. 40 Grit, the lead singer of Jiggy Lee's Red Dragon Cartel's guy named Darren Smith. Darren is from my home. Is it from? I assume probably from your hometown. That's cool. I just told the chat that Greg Chason's daughter came in and bought a car for me the other day.
Sweet.
And then he came in, and he went to finance with him, and then he came back and he goes, "Hey, Mike." He poked his head inside the sales tower. He goes, "Hey, Mike," and I go, "Oh, hey, man," and I jumped up real quick and went out there and talking to him. And I was like, "Who's that guy?" And I go, "Dude, you don't even know. Like, don't even ask." You know what I'm saying? He probably played with one of the best guitar players of our era,
right?
For sure. So, Godos are good bridges, man. I mean, we use them at Sir. And that's what the FU tones are. I mean, they're just a Godo. I think he probably gets them from Godo. They're very
Probably.
similar. They're very similar. So,
I was looking at the Godo nuts because, I've got that EVH that the nut's too high on. And I still haven't gotten around to sanding that shelf down a little bit. But the Godo nuts are not as tall as the Floyd nuts. If you get a original Floyd nut, apparently they've changed them now where they're the same height as the special.
Yep.
And then even in the R3, they're still a 10-inch radius.
Yes, they're all 10-inch for right now, from what I was told.
So
from what I read,
that's useless for me. But the Godo nuts they're not as tall, but I can't find an R3 Godo nut that's not a 16-inch radius.
I think the Godo's got a lot more plating on them too, from what I remember. They're a lot more chrome looking. They're brighter. There's just not a lot of plating on the floor on the made in Germany ones. There just wasn't a lot of plating on them. You could sand the back of those. I would sand the back of them every once in a while, just to, if I had a small tweak to make, I would just take it over to the bandsaw, just sit there, or the sander, and just sit there and rub it and get the plating off it. Sometimes that that would help, but I don't know, man. Those those new Floyd Roses, the new nuts, I have both. And when I did that Rowan Robertson build, which I'll show here in a minute, I went between the two because that neck's a Musicraft. And I'll say something about Musicraft. I built 2 guitars with Musicraft necks from pretty much scratch. And both those guitars went together effortlessly. So I didn't have to sand anything. I didn't have to sand any shelves. I didn't have to do anything. So hats off to Musicraft. That's the second Musicraft I've done. I'll show you here in a minute.
That 84 Kramer replica is all Musicraft parts. It's Musicraft neck and body.
It's good stuff, man.
Scott Smith signed the pocket and the heel.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah,
no kidding. That's cool.
Yeah, that's a
cool cat.
That thing went together when it got shipped to me. It got shipped to me in pieces, and I mean, dude, that thing was together and strung up in like 15 minutes.
Yeah. It's crazy. I went out there Sunday with the intention of being out there all day. Took me an hour to finish the guitar, and then my buddy came over with 4 guitars for me to work on. So that worked out well. Lou says you have an amazing guitar collection, so it's probably hard for you to still have any guitars on your bucket list.
Oh, there's always guitars on the bucket list.
I would like to have that gem. That gem's one I would, a Loch Ness green gem would probably be the one. What would be the one guitar? Probably a gem. A Ripley, I'm kind of over it because I'm not going to play it. You're just not going to play that guitar. It's a cool guitar to have, look at and go, oh, look at, I've got a Ripley, but you're not going to play it. I mean, you're just not going to, it's not convenient. It's not a convenient guitar to play because it requires a setup. You have to set that up right for it to work correctly.
Right.
So that's my opinion. You may have a different opinion on that, but
if you're not playing in stereo, it's kind of pointless too.
Yeah. What's the point of having it? Let's see here. So let's talk about the Rowan. So
let's do it.
So let's see here. So I built, 2 years ago, I stumbled, we were going to Vegas, and if you don't know who Rowan Robertson is, he was the guitar player for Dio on the Lock Up the Wolves album. And this is him. So I think that's a cool album. Lock Up the Wolves was a cool album. I was on deployment. I remember where I was when that album came out. The kid was 17 years old playing with Dio. So the album was kick-ass. And I fell in love with that guitar when the album came out. I remember seeing it going, oh my God, it's just so cool looking. So a couple of years ago, I went to go see him at, he's playing at the Rio for the Raiding the Rock Vault. And he was the guitar player for that, he was the main guitar player at the Rio for that. So So anyways, I hit up Tim at Atomic Guitars out here. I said, hey, bro, I just got this neck off of eBay or Reverb probably. And it was a perfect candidate for that guitar. So on Sunday, I built it and I finished it. So it turned out freaking badass. And I do have the DO picks inside the headstock, and I plan on putting the DO picks around here. I bought a bunch of them when they were $14 a piece. I went on the other day; they're 45 to 50 now. So, I guess a couple of years ago, Rowan Robertson wasn't as popular, but I got a bunch of picks. But yeah, I just finished this one, and hey, Music Craft neck, and it turned out freaking amazing, and it plays great. And it went together effortlessly. I sat here with this EMG 81 the other day going, oh my God, this thing just sounds, it just sounds fantastic. I mean, like I haven't messed with the EMG for a while, so it's kind of weird. So, what body is that, Charvel? I'm pretty sure that's, I'm pretty sure that was a model body. In my opinion, that was probably a model body. And, it probably didn't have that pickup in it because it's got an EMG, and because that switch throws me off. If you go back to the switch, if you start looking at that guitar, let me put it back up. If you go back to that guitar, it's got a switch on it. Why would I have a switch on it if it's got an active pickup in it?
Yeah, the
on off, maybe. I don't know.
They didn't start the coil tapped EMGs till the X series come out, and that's within the last 15 years.
So I'm thinking it probably had a different pickup in it at one time. That's probably a dead switch during this period, in my opinion. Maybe not, but
it's probably a Model 2 body because those had a JT6 on them.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. Model body, but anyways, this one turned out good, and it's a player, and I told everybody before you even jumped on, I was in here setting up today, and I brought the chub tone out.
You could have sold that to me.
So if this was yours, would you change the pickups to cream?
And that guitar, no, they would stay black. What pickups are in that guitar? Custom 5, and
it's a custom 5, and that it's a Duncan SSL.
Yeah, the SSL will go.
Yeah. The checking on this guitar is just ridiculous. I mean, it is just ridiculous. It looks good.
I almost bought that black hum single reverse headstock they have for sale that they've marked down, but it's a dinky body.
Yeah, it's a dinky, man. You can't do the dinky, bro. I can't do the dinky.
Yeah, no, I can't do the 7/8 size body.
Yeah, what sucks about that is
killed that was the dinky body. I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
Can't do it.
I agree. Let me catch up in the chat, bro. EMG 89. That's an 81. I put an 81 in that. I don't know if that's good or not, but I'm familiar with the 81, so that's why I did that.
What's up, Blue Mox?
What's up, Blue?
I saw Cheech. I had said earlier, he's like, do you guys always modify your guitars? I'm like, I don't have anything that's stock. Literally nothing in here is stock.
That's the fun of it, man. Yeah, just tear it apart. Did John DeShane jump in? Oh, John's here. What's up, John? How's it going, bro?
What's up, John?
John's here. Sir John DeShane. John was one of the first people I shared with about the lock blocks on that Floyd, because I just think that's kind of weird. They want $500 for the switch on that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for the bridge on that, 500 more.
I swore when Pete showed that guitar off, it had titanium saddles, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, Umberto's here. So, hey bro, what's going on? I had we had a guy in here a little while ago talking about the shims, and I'm going to share your pictures from the Wolfgang with him. I kept those pictures because they're good. They're a really good reference as to what to use and how to do it. So you did a great job on throwing that in there. So, Blue's commenting. 89 is an 85 with a tap. I wouldn't know. Is it, Randy?
That sounds right, because the 85 is an 81 with an A5 magnet. And I prefer the 85 to the 81, as did Gary Moore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's on to something there. I think that's right. An 89 is an 85 with a tap.
Or a split.
Because then they come out with the it was like 2008 or 9, they come out with the X series that were all splittable. You can get the 81X or the 85X or the 60X or whatever, and you can split those. But yeah, I think he's on to something there.
John says he's happy with the 510, which is not bad. Those go to 510s are awesome. With locking tuners, it's 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other, I guess.
Locking tuners and a properly cut nut.
Yep. No worries there. Umberto says, cool, thanks. What else you got going on? Anything? You work on anything else?
No, just that one for now. I've got like 4 back there that are going to get some facelifts and some pickup swaps done.
Is your game plan to do 3 like we were talking about? You're going to do 3, or how many are you going to do?
Yeah, probably 4.
4?
Because mainly, I mean, we're usually in standard tuning for most of the jam tracks, and some of them are down in D and C. And then a lot of the cover tunes are in E flat or drop C sharp. And the guitar I was using for that is my Wildcard 3, and it's got a Super 3 in it. So that's just all low end. So it's kind of hard to play anything where you're, chugging on some drop C sharp riffs without having to cut the bass on your amp way down. But I'm pretty much going to tone zone everything, and the main stuff I play on the show, and just re-EQ my amp for that. That way they're all fairly similar. And then I've got 2, like my white Japanese Charvel. That guitar is super bright. And then my white Adrian Smith Jackson that I modded, that guitar is really bright too. So I need something in them to kind of beef them up.
I get it. I'm kind of tapped out right now with regards to. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, here. Let's knock this out real quick. On my radar. I was going to talk to you about this one, but I said, shoot, I'll just bring him on. We'll just talk about it. I'm watching this one. Guys local. Let's see here. Guys local.
Hey, that looks familiar.
I think that's too much. I'm having a hard time with it. I'm having a hard time with that one. It's a cool guitar, though.
This is the only Mexican Charvel I have left. The other 2 or 3 that I've owned, I've gotten rid of, just because I like the old USA production run and the Japanese ones so much more. But I really like this guitar. It plays great, sounds good. I've actually considered getting another one, and then just getting a non-reversed headstock Charvel neck from like the Stratosphere. Mm-hmm. So I'd have one with a reverse and one with a non-reverse.
Yeah. That's what's holding me up with that guitar is the reverse headstock. Just like that super stock we're talking about with the Vivian Campbell looking one.
Yep.
And then the guy swapped the neck. Henrik swapped it. That was Henrik, right? Yeah, he swapped it to a regular Charvel neck. It looked awesome.
Yeah, he's got like a stockpile of those Japanese Charvel necks, so he'll get stuff like that, and he'll swap the necks. He's got several of the stars from the '80s that came with reverse headstock necks that he swapped Strat necks on, and or the Strat head necks on, and all that stuff. He does that stuff. But yeah, I think that Vivian Campbell, the reverse Vivian Campbell style, looks way better with a Strat head on it.
Yeah,
than the reverse pointy.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. That guitar looks good with a maple neck on it, but not with the Did you see this one?
Yeah, is that one of the NAMM ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I think I'm watching all of them, and I don't know why.
Dude,
I'm not going to buy them. But
I don't know why I'm watching it either, but I got to tell you something, man.
The inlays are cool.
That freaking headstock. Dude, that looks badass, right?
Yeah.
I think that looks tight. That looks tight. They need to fix that. Yeah, right there. It's just sitting in the wrong spot. That bugs me. That logo is badass. That logo is badass. I like the inlays too.
Yeah, the inlays are cool.
And that color's cool too. And the gold hardware makes the whole thing pop.
Yeah, and I'm when it comes to gold hardware, it depends on the guitar. And I think that works on that one.
Is that worth $5,200 though?
No.
No way.
The amber one that looked like the Music Man that they did. It was a flat top amber, quilt top amber. I think it was $6,000. And they might have already sold it because they sent me a targeted offer on it. I'm like, for like $5,500. I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying that. Mm. And there's that guy.
There it is.
Yeah, those are not titanium saddles.
The red looks so much better. So I'll probably stop watching this one, but I wanted to throw something together today for what I was watching. But I do like the route. That was the Alistrada route that he had on his Sparkle. If you watch the old SL68 demos when Alistrada had his Sparkle, you can see the Floyd Rose route they put on there. I like that Floyd Rose route. It's cool.
Yeah.
Nuno did the same thing. The same thing. Yeah.
Yep. Cheech, I've got a little over 20 in my arsenal. They are not all here. There's like 12 here, and there's probably another 12 between my dad's house and my climate controlled storage unit. So
what did Blue say? Blue said I have a 90s Fender Squire. 5 neck through, hum single hum, put an 89. Back in, but one died. I've had that happen before too, where those the EMG pickup that my EMG pickup died. It just stopped working one day. It's weird. So he said he replaced it with an 81.
There you go.
Let's see here. Yostinator says 40 grid. Would I be okay dropping a Godot 96 onto a stock? Floyd Rose. Yeah.
And it'll fit.
It'll fit. That's why it's cool to have the straight end on the other side. There's no wedge. It's not wedged out for it. It'll give you a little bit more room.
Yeah, because the Godot studs, I think, they're bigger in diameter by like another millimeter. So if you were to put the Godot studs in the guitar, you'd have to drill it out.
That takes me back. So we were having problems with the Floyd Rose staying in tune one time at SIR, and we had the meeting of the minds, and I was like, well, maybe it's the posts, and they're like, no, and then one day we each got a bottle of oil, and it said that Godot recommends that we oil the so we're taking toothpicks and putting oil on them and then spinning the stud and oiling the stud.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see a difference, but I remember that just popped in my head when you said that the stud diameter, because Goto told us to put oil on them, that'll probably help. And I was like, I don't get it.
I mean, I guess it's kind of like how people put chapstick and stuff on the knife edges.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big proponent of putting like chapstick or an oil on the knife edges of a Floyd because it attracts, dirt and lint and all that stuff. So the guitars I've had where they'll kind of stick or whatever, I use the DuPont makes it. It's like a Teflon dry lube, and that stuff works great.
Yeah.
And it doesn't attract lint and dirt and dust and whatever else to it. And it's like $8 at the hardware store.
What capacitor could I use for my DiMarzio 70s humbucker to darken the tone? Well, if you really want to get it dark, just use a 4.7. Because like the higher you go, the less travel it's going to have. You're going to have more travel with a 4.7. So I just put a 4.7 in it. If you're on your tone. What do you think, Randy?
Put a 300K pot in it.
Yeah.
If you've got a 500K pot, you could always, put a 300 or a 250. There's really not much difference between a 300 and a 250. I mean, a 250 will make it a little bit darker, but
it depends on how dark you're going, I guess would be the question. How dark do you want it? So, yeah. But that will help surely. Randy Price, you and I know the guy that bought the black EVH custom from the Music Zoo.
Well, you'll have to text me and tell me who it is.
Oh, somebody bought a black one from them?
Probably.
Oh, wow.
I guess Kurt and I know the guy. Kurt's been told and I haven't.
Another 3-wood.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't have too many 3-woods, man. They just work.
Dude, that's man, I will never forget Harry saying that to me. Hey, Mike, you should have got a lot of 3-woods. And I was like, it's a good point. It's a good point. No integrity issues. I haven't seen integrity issues with the Goto studs, man, or the Floyd Rose. I mean, like if they're going to sit on there for years, maybe, but I mean, like I've never personally had a problem with a guitar that I owned. I've gotten guitars that had integrity problems with the studs, but I don't know what the owner did prior to me and I just changed the studs out. So
I mean, the special studs are steel, but I don't think they're not the same tensile strength steel that the German studs are. I mean, usually when it comes to worried about a Floyd special, you're worried about the saddles and the base plate, especially since the saddles are zinc, and the sustain block on a special zinc as well.
God, those zincs are terrible.
Oh God, don't get me started.
Terrible.
MIM, Japanese, or American made, depends on what it is.
Yep.
I mean, everybody probably should know at this point that I'm a Charvel nerd. And when it comes to Charvels, I much prefer the 2008 to 2010 USA production run guitars. And when they moved those to Japan for 2010 through 2011 and very early 2012, those guitars, it's the necks, man.
Yep. And the front work on the made in Japans were amazing.
Yep. And I mean, nothing bad about the MIMs. I mean, I still have one, but I've had a couple other MIM Charvels, and I don't know, that newer Speed C profile they have is just a hair too thin. The USA ones and the Japanese ones, it's a little bit thicker neck than the current Speed C profile. The width is pretty much the same, but that, and when they went to made in Mexico, I think they went to Mexico in 2013, and in 2015, when they started doing the thumb wheel adjuster, truss rod adjuster at the heel, they stopped using the quarter sawn necks and went to flat sawn and 2-piece. So you've got a glued on maple fretboard on the maple necks instead of the old quarter, like those back there, they're all quarter sawn 1-piece necks.
Yep.
And dude, I never have to adjust those things.
Yep. I've got a flat sawn. I know what you're talking about. I got one.
This guitar, the Henrik guitar, that's a flat sawn neck. And I mean, it's pretty stable. Mine's not a newer one. Mine's from the original run in 2020 when they were actually a limited edition, but they sold out super quick. And then people were standing on their heads saying, please bring these back. And they asked Henrik if he wanted to do another run of them or what he thought about him making a production guitar. And of course he was all for it. So, and I think he said here in the fall of this year, they're going to do a custom shop run of the newest one that I think Red Dave made him. It's a Relic pattern, but it's like a sparkle candy apple red over a gold Relic. It's got a red headstock, gold hardware, and then he's working on some signature pickups with DiMarzio. And I think he said they're going to do like 25 of the custom shop of the red, and then in 26 they'll end up releasing the Mexican version of the red guitar. So they've got some stuff in stock with him coming up here in the next year for some new stuff, because apparently the white Relic one is sold really well.
It's a cool guitar. My problem is I'm going to take that guitar and I'm going to take the volume out. I'm going to put a kill switch in it, and then I'm going to drill the right volume.
See, that was a seller for me, was where the volume knob's at.
Yeah.
The two big sellers, when they first announced that guitar, thinking like July of 2020, I knew who Henrik was because I listened to his band Evergrey. And he's very, if you listen to his lead playing and stuff, he's very Van Halen and all those 80s guys influenced. George Lynch, he borrows a lot from them. But that was like, okay, it's white. It's got a reverse headstock and a top mount Floyd and the volume knobs out of my way. I'm in. So I pre-ordered one immediately.
Yeah.
And it's been a great guitar. I mean, right.
What do I buy that one for locally? What do you think?
What is he asking for it?
$13.75. It's too much.
Okay, so I think they went up $100, but they come with one of those the soft shell cases now.
Yeah.
Mine didn't, but I think when I got mine, they were $14.99 or $15.99. Yeah. I think now they're $16.99 new, and the $100 is that soft shell case.
Yeah, which I don't need.
He wants $13.75 for it. I mean,
I was thinking $1,150, $1,200.
That's where I'm at. I mean, I know what I just paid for that Japanese San Dimas, so which was in that same ballpark. Those guitars are finally coming back to reality. Those things got where people were wanting over $2,000 for those guitars, and they're finally getting back down to that. I mean, they were $10.99 new, and they're finally getting back to that price. So, but yeah, I mean, I'd probably, 12 would probably be my top on that. Cause like I said, I've been looking at maybe picking up a used one and putting a non-reverse headstock neck on it.
I think that guitar would look good with a tortoiseshell pickguard too.
See, I'm not a tortoiseshell pickguard fan, so
I think that would look sharp. I might get one of those and just mess with it. Jimmy says special posts are soft. Everything of it's special is just, I mean, if you have a guitar with a special on it, just replace it. Everything's soft.
If you're not gigging with it and you're just, playing in your little home studio or bedroom or whatever, it's not getting gigged 3 or 4 times a week. I mean, it's probably fine. But if you're really wanting to do something with it and wanting some longevity out of it, I'd swap it. And, a lot of people crap on the 1000 series, but you can pick 1000s up on eBay and Reverb for $100, $120 all day long. And they're, leagues above the special, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have to go with the 1000, it's probably not going to fail you. It's just, I'd rather have the original. And if Ford have a lot to learn with the working on guitars, it's fun.
Me too.
It saves you a lot of money. I like working on guitars.
That's my point. that's my plan for Saturday. If that guitar shows up Thursday, I'm going to, and all my other stuff shows up, I'm going to take it up to work where I've got my big open toolbox space and all my stuff, and I'm going to swap the pickups and go through. And, I'll see how the setup is on it when it gets here. I mean, I talked to the guy a little bit today, and he had two of them. He had a black one, a black Japanese San Dimas, and the white one. And the white one was his live backup to the black one. And he sold both of them because I was watching the black one too. And he sold the black one a couple weeks ago. And I got talking to him a little bit today. That guitar it's been played. It's definitely played in. It's got some dings and some buckle rash and all that stuff, but he's done some mods to it. It's got a big block in it. I think it had a brass claw. But the way he kind of describes it, I mean, the way his setup is, from what he told me, seems like it's fairly similar to how I like my guitars. So we'll see how that is, but I'll, definitely going to swap pickups, put the pickup rings on it, change the pot and the switch, and then I'll string it up with my gauge and set it up and intonate it and be good to go. That's how I plan on spending my Saturday.
What gauge are you using right now?
I use 9-46 for standard tuning and E flat. And then when I go down to D, it's 10-48, which is the Ernie Ball. Oh, they've got a name for it because I used to have to buy a set of 10s and a set of 11s. And it would be like 10-49. And then Ernie Ball come out with a set. I forget what it's called, but it's 10-48. So I started using those, and they work pretty good on a 25.5-inch scale for D. And if I get any lower than that, then I go to 11s.
Yeah, the necks on the they're not that. They're slimmer. I agree with Randy, but I do like the made in Mexico Charvels as well. They're good. Do you like V-necks? I have boat necks. I have I like the Eric Johnson Fender, the V-neck. I like the boat neck by Warmoth. The boat neck is probably the V-neck that I use the most, but they're very fat and very comfortable. Like if I was going to play a gig for hours, I could only take one guitar. I would take the Warmoth boat neck.
The only V-neck I've ever played and liked was the loop neck. When Ryan and I went to Guitar Center, it's been like almost a year ago now. I played one of the Luke 4s, the Hum single with the Floyd. That one, when they had just come out, they had one of those, and I played it, and it has a V-neck. And it may just be because those Music Man necks are narrow, but that V-neck on that guitar is actually really comfortable, and I'm not a big V-neck fan. I'm not against having big, chunky necks, but I still like, if it's going to be that chunky, I still like a chunky C.
Yep.
Call me like Phil Collins type crazy, I guess.
Yeah, he likes the big ones, that's for sure, the fat ones. So you guys would never replace Floyd Rose special inserts. I wouldn't have a special on a guitar. If I bought a guitar and had a Floyd Rose special on, I would just change it. I just swap it. I just gut it.
It. The inserts, I don't know if the inserts are any different. They may be. I don't know. But I would just honestly, I mean, really, with the inserts failing, that's really going to depend more on what the body wood of the guitar is and how much abuse it takes. So I would probably leave the inserts in and just swap the post.
Guitar Man 45, what's up, dude? How's it going?
Up,
Thanks for being here. Zach, what's up?
I got a quilt top Les Paul for you, Bo.
Let's see here. I've never had a problem with a Floyd Rose 1000. I have not either. I've got a Floyd Rose 1000 on a couple guitars. I've never had a problem with them, but they do set up differently from a Floyd Rose original, which I've gone over 1,000,000 times.
Yeah, the saddles are different, and
yep.
You can fix that grittiness on those a lot of the 1000s. The fine tuners are kind of gritty. You just put a little 3-in-1 oil, like a dab on them, and run them in and out a couple of times. They'll usually kind of take care of that. 81 Ibanez DT300 Destroyer. Is that the Phil Collins Destroyer? The triple pickup? like in the photograph video.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool to have one of those. Cheech says, "You guys ever build kits?" I've never bought a kit. Have you ever bought a kit? I've never bought a kit.
No, I have a buddy of mine that him and his dad buy those kits from like buildyourownguitar.com or whatever.
Yeah.
And they assemble them and stain them and all that kind of stuff. He says they're not bad, but I don't know. It's something for him and his dad to do as his dad gets older. So, I mean, more power to him.
Nothing more satisfying for me than picking up a new or used guitar and making it the best it can possibly look and play. Yep. I agree. Yeah, I had somebody hit me up the other day about who was it? Oh, it was Umberto hit me up on the Focus. He saw a Focus at Guitar Center. And I got that Focus 2000 from Dane. I brought it home and I set that guitar up. That guitar is just, I pulled that out the other day. It's just a great playing guitar. So yeah, I feel you. That's a good feeling but when you pick a guitar up at a store, you can kind of feel if it's going to play good. You're going to know if it's going to be in your wheelhouse of tweaking, you know what I'm saying? If it's going to be something that you're going to be able to work on. So
I always play them unplugged first just to see how loud they are acoustically. And usually the louder they are acoustically, the better they are.
Yep. I agree. Ryan says, "Wife's fault.
Whose fault is it?
It's been so long. What's been so long?
Since me and him went to Guitar Center. Look, man, your timing's wrong. He always wants to go when I have to work.
Yeah, I get it, dude. I
should just quit my job, not playing." And going to Guitar Center.
It's the I was thinking about that the other day. It's the management of time and being in the car business. I remember when I first moved out here and I got in the car business in 2015, it seemed like I had a lot of time on my hands. Now it seems like I have no time on my hands and I'm working the same amount of hours. So what is it that I'm doing differently now to where I feel like I have no time? Like, perfect example. I got done doing that Rowan guitar. I did the Wolfgang guitar, but this is stuff that I have torn apart and like I have it sit.
Right.
There was a time in my life where I could just, like when I was working at Sir, where I had weekends off and I could just do whatever I wanted to. And I would just do everything in one shot. Boom. But I will say that, the guy who taught me how to build guitars used to say to me, if you don't feel like doing it, then don't, because you're going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
And that was really good advice, especially later on in life, because now I don't have time and I'd be like, I'm not going to touch it. So I'll have guitars sit for 2 weeks before I even have the shot to do it. So it's funny. I fixed that pacer. I took it over to my buddy's house yesterday and he was working and I go, here's your guitar. And he goes, oh, okay, cool. Here. And I go, I don't want it. I can't take it right now. I can't.
It'll never get done.
I just got it cleaned up. I just got the guitar room cleaned up. I just got everything done. Just give me a couple weeks to where I can take a breath of not having, because when you come in the guitar room, for me personally, and I go to play, I'll look down and see, oh, I got to work on that one. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do that. And I get distracted and then it becomes overwhelming. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to do anything right now. And I'll leave. So it was funny because he goes, hey, could you take this? And I was like, nope, I can't right now. I just can't do it. I can't do it. So,
yeah, I mean, I've been going to fix the nut on that EVH for, 3-4 months now and still ain't done it.
Yep. It's good to hit that stuff when you have time. The posts on the specials are smaller.
Really?
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either, but I don't have anything with a special on it either. So
yeah, I don't have anything. I don't have anything like that. Yoster says I have a fantastic Fender HM Strat, a made Japan reissue that came spec'd with a Floyd Rose special. I normally don't buy guitars that come with a shitty bridge, but I made an exception for that X. Yeah,
well, That's Fender for you. Fender did that. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. They did that run of Japanese built Strats. They're your classic Strat colors and setup, but they're hum single. They had a Floyd, and they were like $1,500, and they've got a Floyd special on them. Why are we putting Floyd specials on $1,500 guitars?
Yeah, I wouldn't. That'd be the first thing I change. I mean, like I changed some specials out one time, and guess where they went?
Trash.
No, I threw them in bags. I took them over to Dane because Dane will use them. On guitars that he sells or whatever.
Right.
I walked in one day with a box of parts for him, and I was like, "Here you go, buddy." But I just take them off and set them aside, and then anything like that, I'll just take it over to Dane and give it to Dane. By the way, shop at Zim's Guitars. He's cool. Zach Thong is see anybody work on acoustics?
Not I. I can play an acoustic. I'm not what I would consider in the realm of acoustic playing an acoustic player, but I can play an acoustic. I'm not a like a true grit acoustic guitar player by any means, but if we're going to go do an unplugged session of covers, I can do it.
This is or work on any. The only thing I've done on an acoustic is adjust a saddle the saddles, your saddle piece for the that's the only thing I've done on acoustics. Adjust the action. Threads don't match up with a German post. See, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
You have to remove the bushing. No kidding.
I
didn't know that.
Well, it would probably line up with a 1000 because I know the 1000s and the special use the same nut. From what Floyd has said, if you take a special and you swap the saddles and the sustain block to the steel ones, you've got a 1000. How true that is, I don't know, but I know it used to be on the Floyd website, but they've changed so much here recently.
That's good info. Randy, do you like or own any SGs?
I hate SGs. So that should answer the second part of that question too. You know what, dude? It takes the guys that love SGs can play the hell out of them. If you give me an SG, I feel like I'm playing a 2x4.
Yeah, I don't like them,
and they sit weird. It's like everything's too far back or too far forward or something. I don't know. They sit weird. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a SG fan. I've even tried like other brands versions of an SG, like the ESP Vipers and stuff, and I don't like them. I'm not Angus Young. Yeah, Ryan had an SG for like a week and got rid of that for the same reasons I just said. They sit weird, man.
Yeah.
I can't remember because it's been so long since I've played an SG. I think everything just feels like it sits further forward or something that's weird.
Yeah, the balance doesn't line up well. Something doesn't line up well. Let's see here. I don't work on acoustic guitars. I just play. That's a good place to be. Hello, 40 Grit. Been busy, but back now. Always a learning experience here. Good, man. James, nice to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. Let's see what else we got. Too much neck dive on an SG.
Yep. I tell you what I've always been curious about in the Gibson lineup is a Firebird. I think Firebirds look cool.
The balance is good too.
I know. I actually don't mind what ESP calls it the Phoenix. It's their Firebird variant. Some of those look pretty cool. I've never played one, but I've always been curious about them. I don't know. I've been playing Charvel stuff for so long that I'll play something and then I'll pick one of those up and it's like, we're home.
That's kind of where I'm at, man. I mean, like it's weird because I got all these guitars now, and like you go through, I was talking to her before she left yesterday, And I go, I finally realized it. I figure out what it is. And she said, what's that? I go, it's the chase. It's the chase of finding it and getting it. And then it's like, okay, set it up. And then it goes to the side.
Right.
It's the chase. But as I'm getting older, I'm starting to realize the stupid shit I do. So, now I've kind of made the deal with myself that if I'm going to buy any guitars, it has to be in person. I'm not buying guitars anymore on the internet because I've just had some bad experiences with internet guitars, and I'm not going to do it no more. I'm not going to do it. So,
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm selling my Les Paul, and it's the only Les Paul I've actually owned. And I bought it after playing Ryan's R9, and they're leagues apart. And the one mine's the standard 60s. It's a quilt top, and that's a different realm between Ryan's 59 reissue and a standard 60s. And mine sounds great. It plays great, but I get to the point with guitars where if they spend more time in the case, then I don't need it. That means there's something about it that I don't like. So
it's that guy, 5 Watt World.
Yeah.
5 Watt World did a show one time. He talked about the different kind of collectors. And I really felt bad after I got done watching it, and I bounced it off Harry. And Harry's like, fuck that guy. Who cares what fuck that, And I was like, dude, I feel really bad because I've got all these guitars and they just sit in cases. And I guess there's I guess there's something to be said about that. But that was good advice because I got really crapped out to the point where I was like, I think I'm just going to sell a bunch of stuff. I'm just going to let some of this stuff go.
Yeah. I mean, I buy guitars to play them, I don't care if they get dinged up or scratched or whatever. I really don't. I couldn't give a shit less. I don't buy guitars to put just to have it, or to hang on the wall or put in a glass case or something like that. It's just, that's not how I am with my collection of guitars. I play them all, whether they get played on the show or not, and pretty much every one of them in that rack back there, I'm pretty sure all of them have been played on that show multiple times. And, that Les Paul lives in drop C. So it gets played, on one tune. And I think the other big thing with that is a lot of it depends on what you learned on.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that learn, guys or girls that learn on Les Paul shaped guitars tend to gravitate towards that. Mm-hmm. I learned on a Strat.
Yep.
So that's the natural, midline right there with me and guitars is it's got to be some kind of Strat shape to have some kind of homey feeling to it. And then the necks are just the neck's it for me. If I don't like the neck, it's gone. That's why I sold that JP16. I wanted one of those forever. I drove to North Carolina to buy the one I bought, and it sounded awesome. It played good, but the neck on it was narrow, and it's a R3 nut. So, I mean, you move your hand and you're pulling the E's off the fretboard. Mm. I'm just like, you need like another millimeter or two on each side of the string here, and I'm good.
Yeah.
Because, I would alternate it out with these, and those necks are so much wider, and then I'd go to play the JP, and I'm sitting there constantly pulling the high E off the neck.
I wonder if you would have put an R2 on if it would have changed it.
I don't like R2s. I feel like my hands are cramped playing an R2.
Constricted. You see, I got the same feel, man. I start playing R2s, and my hand feels like I'm constricted, like the strings are way too close together.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel that. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like if I play anything that's R2 really, if I play anything in that kind of string spacing, that width of like an R2 nut, I just feel like my hands are cramped up trying to move around the fretboard and stuff. Now that Kramer 84, that's got an R2 nut on it, but the neck's chunky. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it kind of balances out.
Balance, yeah.
And the E's aren't right there on the edge of the fretboard, obviously, but the thickness of the neck and in the neck being asymmetrical at that, it just balances that whole thing out for me. So I can play that guitar with relative ease. So, but yeah, man, when you've got an R3 nut with a 16-inch radius, the whole fretboard on that JP is 16-inch radius, but the necks, I mean, a millimeter wider than your E to E string spacing. It's like, dude, that's cramped.
Yep.
To play it and not pull the strings off, the E strings off the fretboard, man, that's cramped up. And when we went to Guitar Center, I played a Majesty, and the Majesty necks are wider than the JP necks. And I'm like, hey, somebody tell Mr. Petrucci to make his JP necks wider like the Majesty necks, and then I'd be all about it.
Yeah.
But the Majesties, no offense if you own a Majesty, and I love John Petrucci, I love that dude, but those Majesty guitars are hideous. And they're really small.
I wouldn't even know what they are. I'm not even tracking that.
They kind of look like a spade head shovel with horns. They got some cool finishes and stuff on them, but yeah. Well, I like Jake E. Lee. We share a birthday. He's just like 30 years older than I am. But
have you played one?
Yes.
The necks are small. The necks are tiny, man. I mean, like they're different.
Well, they're like that 70s Strat kind of profile, because I mean, his original one with the original white Strat was
a Fender.
It was a 70s Strat
3-bolt.
Yep. But yeah,
I got a blue one, and I just that neck did not do anything for me. I got rid of it.
Yeah, they're cool, man. I mean, I'm so used to playing with a Floyd that it feels weird not playing something with a Floyd. John brought it up a few weeks ago. He's like, all your stuff has Floyds. He goes, and you do dive bombs and stuff here and there, but you're not constantly all over the thing. So do you really need one? I'm like, yes, for how I like my guitar to feel. Yes, I need a Floyd.
I agree. Yes, the chase is fun, but I give all my guitars love. It all depends on the week. Man,
see, Bo knows.
I wish I could get in that guitar closet, because that it's a little cramped in there. The sound of a Les Paul, just can't deal with them. I agree. I mean, I like the Les Pauls, but I don't know. I like getting them and I like playing them, but they're definitely not my first grab. John says, "Do whatever makes you happy." That's what
it boils down to. Because at the end of the day, the only one that matters in your chase with guitars is you.
Do what makes you happy. See here. I just saw Peggy. Peggy's in the chat. Good evening. Been listening and fixing dinner. Now it's time to relax and listen to some more. Well, please do. We enjoy having you.
What are we fixing for dinner?
Yeah. Speaking of which, you are a good man at Zach Thong. So is the quill dinged up. You know what I was going to say about the whole about the whole Relic thing is it's almost like if I go through my life, it's kind of weird, because everything happened at the right time so far. And like me going, like I was gigging a lot when I started working at John Sir, and I would take guitars to the gig, and I was so distraught about dinging my guitar, scratching my guitar. And I would spend hours like freaking out about, oh my God, I'd check them when I got home. And I started working at Sir, and I started watching the guys relicking, and I started like getting into the Relic guitars. I started doing it myself, and it just became so much easier to gig.
Right.
With a Relic guitar, because I didn't have to sit there and worry. All I had to worry about was the playability of it. Does it play good? Yes, it plays good. Let's go. I didn't have to sit there anymore and have to worry about. I mean, when I look back on it now, I'm like, man, I'm really lucky I got that Sir gig, because I remember I walked in with one of my guitars one day. I had chipped a little bit of paint off, and Kenny Jin, one of the master builders, sat there and looked at me like I was crazy. He goes, "Dude, you got issues, bro. Like, you just need to get over it." And I was like, you know what? And now because you can't sit there and worry about shit too much. Did you provide some syphilis medication to Boner Jams?
Apparently, I got it from Quentin James, though. So the medication. Love you, Boner.
Strat shape is a perfect design. I agree.
Yep.
Beesman's going to be feeling better. Randy just has fat hands.
Not really. I mean, they're pretty normal. I don't know. I wear a large, extra large latex glove.
Says you have sausage fingers, Randy.
I definitely do not have sausage fingers. Have you seen Jimmy Biter's hands? He's got sausage fingers.
Nice, James. Yeah, cool, man. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Oh my God, bro, we're so behind in the chat. Let's see here. Thank you. Been a struggle, but he's pulling through with his STDs. Sometimes classical guitars are better built than electrics. Ironically bizarre. Sometimes classical guitars are better. Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah.
If they're quality ones, they are. There's some El Cheapo classicals. I have not played the Rabia, but I can tell by watching his demo videos on it, and I guess they're doing the Sterling version of it now. I can tell by his videos that neck is small.
Close, but not the same. The Charvel necks are bigger. They're wider. They're more of a D. For me personally, Charvel is more of a D shape. EVH is more of a C shape. That's how I'll tell somebody. If you're looking at the necks, the Charvel necks are more of a D to me feeling. Because they're both R3s.
I'll have to, I need to break out the calipers and measure the differences in them.
I think the Charvels have more shoulder.
Yeah, the Charvels are a little bit wider. They're not much wider, and the EVH ones are definitely thicker.
Yes.
They're in that same kind of area of the ballpark.
Yep. Same but different.
Yeah, and the fun fact with that is if you have a Charvel body, you can't put an EVH neck right in it. But if you have an EVH body, you can put a Charvel neck on it. Because the EVH necks are square heeled like a telly, and the Charvels are rounded like a Strat. But they're both 2 1/4 inch pockets. So,
let's see here. So Zach says, for me, being a left-handed player, it's been hard finding. That's funny.
Yeah, I learned how to play right-handed.
I'm left-handed, kind of ambidextrous, but left-handed, like writing. And I remember I went to my first guitar lesson and I had restrung my guitar like Hendrix. And there's this guy at Westland Music, they called him Flash Fingers Phil. And I took like 2 guitar lessons from the guy. And he told me in my first guitar lesson, he goes, "Hey, bro, you need to start playing guitar right-handed because you'll never own a cool guitar." And I was like, okay. So I learned how to play right-handed. And to be honest with you, watching the guy on Tone Talk, what's his name? I mean, like, that guy struggles.
Mark.
Yeah, Mark struggles. Like, he struggles with stuff. He's talking the other night about that
heritage,
about the heritage he's going to build. And they said they don't build left-handed guitars. So I'm glad that I listened to Flash Fingers Phil. Rest in peace. I'm sure because he was old as fuck back then.
Yeah, I've had people that I know that are left-handed. They're like, "Oh, I want to start playing. What should I buy?" I said something right-handed.
Yep.
And they always get, kind of pissed at first. "Oh, yeah, right." No, seriously.
No, really, bro. Yeah.
If you get good at it, your left hand being your dominant hand on the fretboard will always kill a righty. But you'll have way more options in the guitar buying world for right-handed guitars than you will left-handed always.
Yep.
Sounds like a good dinner.
Oh. All right. Let's see here. Jimmy Biter. So I always thought there's
They're kosher, Jimmy.
Oh, Andy Carson's out of here. All right, man. Thanks for being here, boo. Appreciate it.
Take it easy, Andy. I hope your pops is doing better.
Oh man, that's a whole show, bro. I mean,
Right.
I mean, I talked to somebody about this the other day. They go, "Hey, have you ever played the Jakey Lee?" And I go, "Yeah, I had a JEL 20 and I sold it." And he said, "Oh my God, why did you sell it?" And I go, "Because my amp tech told me that if I like EVH, don't ever try to buy another amp because it's never gonna be good enough. It's never gonna. If you're an EVH guy, don't try to go to anything else because you're not gonna find it." And I think he's right because I struggle with amplifiers.
Yeah, there's a definite sound that they do that nothing else will really come close to it. You know, I played a 5152 for years and years and years. Still have it. It's in storage. But I've always kind of, I had my little run in with my short period of owning a triple rectifier and
Me too.
and PRS guitars, early 2000s, mid 2000s, whatever. But I don't know, man. I guess I didn't get the Marshall thing because I could never get a Marshall to sound how I wanted it to sound until the JVM come out. I liked the JVM, the 410, not the 210. And but now I don't know. I've always kind of gravitated. It was always the 5152, or I like the German amps, the Engels, the Bogners, that kind of stuff. And because they have a thing that they do in like the low mids that like the American stuff doesn't, but you're not going to get it out like the Brit style EL34 heads either. So I always kind of like that stuff, but now I'm running the Synergy rig and my high gain stuff's the Friedman. It's the B Deluxe. And I was going to grab the Soldano, the SLO2 module, but I'm actually pretty happy with this B Deluxe. And then the other one's the one Jimmy gave me, the Fryette Deliverance. And it sounds great. I use it for the little more of the crunchier stuff instead of the high gain stuff and the clean, which I don't ever really play clean. I'll use my crunch, my mid gain sound on the Deliverance and just roll the volume back on the guitar. And I've got the Engel Powerball module. It's just for this setup and running direct is too much gain. So, but if you were to put it on a power amp and run it through a cab, it would sound massive. So,
no, your rig sounds great.
A lot of stacked doubling effects going on there.
I got a JVM up there. I got the 50-watt JVM head. I got the Soldano hot rod. I got the Stealth 5150. I got the regular 50-watt, the Stealth 50-watt, a 5152, the iconic 80-watt, two 5150 combos, the PV and the EVH. And I got a bunch. And I got a 100 EVH 100 watt, which I have absolutely no need for. But I got too much shit, man. But it's always back to EVH. It's always back to EVH. So
right,
always back to EVH. The heel joint is longer. See, I've been thinking about doing that, so I gotta pay attention to this. I'm gonna get one of those EVH bodies, and I was thinking just about getting one of those Charvel necks and just throw it in there.
He asked why he doesn't. Not only is it like a telly shape, but it's extended. That stems back from the Frankie in its current iteration. If you ever see pictures of the Frankie, you'll see this. You'll see the big gap between the neck and the body before the neck pickup's at, and it's because he's got a telly heeled neck on it, strat head, but it's a telly style heel. And he had one of the other necks he had on it. It was a telly heel, but it was extended out. So EVH did all kinds of weird shit that didn't make any sense to most of us, but in his mind, it worked. And, I guess at the end of the day, he knew more than we did, or we do. So
John likes the Marshalls. 100 watts. He's got that head first amplifier. He seems pretty happy with that one.
Hey, that thing sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I keep toying with the idea of buying the other headfirst amp Jason makes, the Evil Joe, the one he did for Joe Barresi. That thing's like Marshall on Bogner steroids, high gain, and then it's got the on like channel 2, which is like the super high gain channel. He's got a boost in it that's called the "fuck that guy" switch. Literally, that's what it's called, the FTG switch, and it's just even more gain.
Yeah.
And it just sounds incredible.
That's awesome.
When he demoed it on our show, 2 months or so ago, and he almost forgot to. Simon Hosford was on too, and Simon brought up. He's like, "Oh, you got to show him the FTG switch." And we're like, "What's the FTG switch?" And he's like, I'm not going to attempt to do a Aussie accent because I'll fail at it miserably. But he's like, "Oh, well, Joe Barresi's got this saying, it's fuck that guy." He goes, "So we've got a boost switch I put in on the high gain channel for even more gain, and it's called the fuck that guy switch." And he flipped it on, and he's playing like an old Greco Destroyer, and it's in D. It was like in D standard, and he just starts chugging on that thing, and I just started laughing because it was so good.
No kidding.
So good. He's like, "If you need any more gain than that, you have problems."
Yep. Yeah. And then you go watch Tone Talk, and Dave Friedman's like, "Yeah, I played through an EVH amp, and I think I was on number 2. Did you catch that the other night?"
Yeah. On the red channel.
He said, "I played it on 2 on the red channel." I was like, "My God, I'm on 5 on the Iconic." I mean, like, I'm like middle of the road. I mean, like they do have a lot of gain on them, but it gets too fizzy if you go too much. It gets
Right.
It gets too much.
Well, my 2 channels on my BE Deluxe, I would like Dave Friedman to know that for my rhythm, like when I play covers and stuff, my rhythm gain is on about 7, and for my lead tone, the gain is on 10. So there's that. And I do stupid things on lead channels, like I cut treble and boost mid and low end to warm it up because I have a bright pick attack, and then using those 2.0 glossed Oltex picks, man, that thing, you can start piercing ears if you've got too much treble dialed in on a lead tone. For me anyway.
Zach says, "Since I started, I've been playing left-handed. My uncle put me in his lap to play guitar, and he is left-handed." That's where it came. No problem with that, bro.
Left-handed people don't live as long as right-handed people, and that's a fact. Just saying. They have more fun though. I
got animals screaming at my door, bro. I'm gonna wrap this up. Thanks for coming on, Randy. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for inviting me.
2 hours and 13 minutes, not bad. I was just gonna go through all my stuff with you guys, show the new stuff I worked on. I'm looking forward to seeing Randy's Charvel, and we'll see that on Thursday probably. Soon. And I look forward to it. James and Peggy, thanks for being here.
Yep.
And guys, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. I will see. I'll be watching on Thursday, and I open on Thursday, so I'll be there for the show on Thursday. Cool. And then Randy, again, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And we will see you when we see you. And let me find my stuff here. Thanks for being here. Randy, thanks, bro.
Yeah, man.